I'm Bet from Bet Makes, and today we're going to make a pleated card, and this is the card we're going to be making. Here's another example of one that we have done. And all you need for this is a couple of pieces of cardstock, different colors, double-sided, something to burnish the sides or make the crease crisp, and that's about it. So let's get crafting. Here we are in Cricut Design Space, and we're going to upload a couple of files. You may already have done so. There's one called the Merit Badge 1, another one called the Pleated Card, and I have another one, Pleated Card Flowers Large, if you want to use the flowers. So I'm simply going to add these to my canvas. So I'm going to pick all three, insert the image. Now there's a couple of things that we have to do. First thing I want to do is just move the flowers out of the way. I'm going to move the merit badge out of the way. Let's start here, and we're going to ungroup this. I'm going to start with the top one here, and you'll notice that it's all black, so I'm going to change that to yellow just so I can see the lines behind it. I'm going to work with these things one at a time. So the first one is the pleated card, and these are all the pleats. So those lines in the middle, those are all the score lines. So I'm going to come over here to my layers panel, and I am going to pick each one of those lines. I'm just going to click on them holding down the shift key so I get a shift click. I'm going to come over here to line type. You can see line type up here. I'm going to change it from cut to score. So now those are all score lines. I'm going to highlight the whole thing so they stay together. I need to attach them. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on attach. So now that is the pleat part of the bottom. Now I have some more here. They're all in a group, so I'm going to ungroup them once again. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to change its color. And since I'm going to cut it on the same mat, I'm going to just change it to yellow as well. And you'll see that there is also a line down the center. That will be a score line. So we have a cut piece here and the score line. I'm just going to click on the score line, change it from cut to score. And once again, I want to highlight both of those. Just want to make sure I don't get the one above. Oh, I did. Just these two pieces, and we're going to come down here and attach it, and now that piece is done. So that's the back of the card and the bottom. This part is the top of the card. Now it's going to be cut out of the same material as this, and this one will be on a different sheet, and I'll show you how to do it. I'm just leaving everything the same because I'm going to choose my own mats when we get to the mat board. So this particular one, it's a cut. I'm going to change it to yellow. Just going to match this piece here. Now this one is two parts, and I'm going to change its color, and we'll go with let's go with an orange for this one. And I'm going to also change this card. I'm going to have to unattach it, and I'm also going to change it to yellow as well. See, it's still attached. Okay, so let's just click on this one. I'm going to change that one to the same orange just because they are the same material. Now once again, I'll come back here and I will attach them. Now this particular piece, it looks like one piece, but it is not. So if I hide this top one, you'll see that there is a smaller one below, and I want that smaller one on top. So I'm just going to take that away. I'm going to click on this again, and I am going to arrange it, and I am going to send it to the back. Should send to the back. It's picking both, that's why. Let's ungroup it. So I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to send it to the back. And you'll see that there is another line here. What we want to do with this piece at the front is we want to draw a line. So let's select it. You can select it over here on the layers panel as well. I'm going to change it from cut to draw. And once again, we just want to highlight both and attach them. All right, one more piece, and that's the band that's going to go across the top. and that is going to be the same color as the card. So I'm going to change it to the same orange color, and I don't have to attach anything there. So all of these pieces are ready. Now you can make a decision whether you want to do the flowers, and they're all set to cut. I would set them to print and cut if you want to use the flowers. I am not going to be selecting the flowers. You'll notice down here in the layers panel, they're already set to cut and print, which is just fine. Okay, I'm going to be using a merit badge. So we're going to have to take a look at the pieces that come with this merit badge. You'll notice there's a lot of cutting going on here, but it's not necessarily what we need. So first thing I'm going to do is ungroup it. So we want these two pieces, and I'm just going to move them out of the way. What I want, if the circle inside, I simply want it to draw inside. So instead of a cut, we want to draw. So I'm just going to click on the layers panel with the cut piece, and I'm going to move it over to draw. And then I'm going to select both, and before I do anything, I'm going to group it. Now this is one piece with 4 lines on it. What I want are the 4 lines, I want them to draw. So let's pick on those lines using shift click, those 4 lines. I'm going to set those to draw. And instead of black draw, let's put on, say, a red, just so we can see it. Now I want to attach those because I don't want anything to happen to them, so I'm going to attach them, and I'll just move those out of the way. Now one last thing on the merit badge, I want to put a name in it, or I want to say you're a winner, and I want to put that inside here. So I'm going to have to grab some text, and I'm just going to put winner. Now I know it's rather large and I don't necessarily like the font that we're using. I'm going to come up here and change a font. I want to change something that is a little more stylish. And this one is called single layer cutting. Now you have to remember, when you're choosing a font, watch out for the $ because they will charge you for a font. Now that's a better one. I want it to be in the middle of the merit badge, so I'm just going to make it smaller, just making it smaller here. Oh, let's move this into the center. It's a little big, and that looks about right. Oh, maybe just a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I want to change this from a cut, because we don't want it cut out. I'm going to change that to a draw as well. And I'm also going to change the color. So let's make that one a green, and that's just so we can see it. And I'm going to put those 2 pieces together and come down and attach it. So now we have all the pieces. If you're going to do the flowers, that's fine. This is the merit badge, that's fine. Right now I am not going to use the flowers, so I'm going to click on the little eyeball so I don't see it anymore. So all my pieces are ready. I'm going to save my project, and this is called Pleated Card. And then I'm going to add merit badge so I know which one I did, and click on save. Perfect. So now it is successfully saved, and now we are going to make it. Now it's going to sort these into different mats. Now this one I want a different color, but I don't necessarily need it on its own mat. This one, that's perfect, that's coming out of the same piece of paper. I don't have to worry about that one. My little merit badge part, that can go on another mat. I don't need to wreck another piece of paper. And finally, I have the pleated card itself. Because I'm using double-sided paper, one side is going to be one pattern, one side is going to be another. That is absolutely perfect. So the next thing we want to do is I want to take our merit badge. I'm going to move it. I'm going to go to move object, and I'm actually going to put it on this outside card one. And I'm going to pull it down into this bottom corner, and that will allow me to put a different color material down in this corner. Now, same thing with this one up here. I don't want it on this mat by itself, so I'm going to move the object, And this time I'm going to put it on the end one and confirm it. All I have to do is pull it down into this corner, and that's exactly where I want the new material to go. Okay, looks like we're all set. So all you need to do is turn on your machine and click continue, and then we're going to then choose our material. So here we are. I'm going to click continue. It's going to hook up to my maker. You could have a Joy or you could have something else, as long as you know what you're going to be using. For this, I tend to use medium cardstock, but you could choose something different. You can always browse all materials to find the one you want. I have all of these pre-selected. These are stars, so when I select my material I can click on the star, and that would put it into my favorites. Now I'm only allowed 12 favorites, so if I wanted to add another one I'd have to remove the star and go from there. I'm going for medium cardstock. Now you also notice over on the side here, the ones that I moved, if I click here you'll see that they are only 2 mats that I have to use now, and it's giving me the position of exactly where I can place the different items. So I'm going to place one set of material over the card and the little pieces and a different color under the winner. So now we're all ready. I'm going to click on medium stock. It wants me to load my red pen and my scoring wheel, and we are ready to go. So the next part, we're going to see how to assemble this card. All right, here we are. We're going to put one together, and the first one I did had a little donuts, and this was the edge before. I added flowers, but the one we cut out today will have a medal. And of course this is the square where you want to put the greeting, thank you, or whatever it happens to be, and then one that matches here. Now this is one that we've done in the past, so let's assemble the one we just cut today. I used Mickey Mouse paper, which is absolutely fabulous. It has the Mickey Mouses on the back, so it was easy to match the paper. I also matched the paper so it would go well with our Mickey Mouse here, and of course that's the greeting saying that will fit there. And I tried to match the blues and that for the winner part. Now this is pretty easy to put together. We start of course with the card, and we will burnish this one just to keep the fold nice. So what we're going to do is simply glue this piece on quite near the top. We're going to add this piece on the bottom. Once this is glued to the bottom, we're going to add the stripe here, our saying, and then finally our winner medal. So that's the process we're going to go through. So let's just quickly go through this. I will get my glue. Alright, we're going to apply glue. I'm just using a simple Darris glue for this particular project. And it's just a school glue. You don't need anything fancy with it at all. I'm going to place it quite near the top. Just want to make sure this one dries in place before we go on to the next pieces. We'll just set that aside. Next thing we want to do is we want to make these folds, and that is perfect because we have all of these score lines. I know they're a little difficult to see, but what's going to happen with the score lines is when you push it one way, so you do a valley and a mountain fold. And there's our first one. Okay, we have all of our folds together. What we want to do now is take the glue, and we're just going to glue those folds together. The reason I do it this way is so that when you go to glue it on the card, it's a lot easier because these are already in place. I'm just going to hold it down. I'm going to use a clip. You can use any kind of clip you like. I just happen to have one that came off a coffee bag that I'm using. clip these together. Make sure they stay in place. So we're just going to let that dry a little bit. I see this one's not holding down the way I wanted it to. Give it a little burnish to make sure the glue sticks. And this is a clear glue, so you don't have to worry too much about when it dries on your mat. Okay, while this is drying, I'm going to add glue to our little saying, and we'll decide what to say on it a little later. Just fit it nicely in that corner. Okay, the glue is pretty well dry, so it's holding together. I managed to glue both sides of it. Now, I did switch glues because the school glue wasn't working that well, and I have a Craft Medley premium craft glue that seems to hold things better. Now we're going to glue this piece here and across the top to hold it to the card. Move the card out of the way. The important part is we want to be able to get the top of the card for sure. We don't worry about the pleats so much. And we want to get these parts of the card. And the reason is you want it to stay on top of the card. You don't want it to come off when you give it to someone. So we'll just place this in place. We're going to leave a bit of a gap. Try and line it up as best as possible. Now the glue I switched to dries a lot quicker. So I can see some of the edges here, and that's going to dry a lot quicker in place. Still going to use my little clip to hold it on at the top here before we add some other pieces. Make sure it stays in place. There we go. Now this will dry in just a few seconds, so we're going to add our strip across the top here now. So we want to hold it down so it's just below. You can make a narrower strip if you want, but I find this size is absolutely perfect. Okay, looks like we're going to be okay for that. All we're going to do here is glue this one in place. And I have a Sakura Jelly Roll pen, and I'm just going to type place words, thank you. And we are done. Doesn't this look fabulous? You get this nice 3D effect. You have the winner medallion here. We have a thank you that we wrote in by hand to make it really personal, and then of course you can put your own personalized message inside. So this looks absolutely incredible. Well, I hope you had a lot of fun making this card. It was pretty simple, and you use your Cricut, or you could use a pair of scissors to make this as well. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and happy crafting. Well, one last thing, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you soon.